Atlanta Falcons fans, listen up. This defense might be on the verge of history. The Falcons are chasing a record that hasn't been touched since the 90s, and right now, they're on pace to shatter it. Could this be the year the Dirty Birds finally build a pass rush that terrifies the entire NFL? Stay locked in, because what's happening in Atlanta might change everything. Back in 1997, the Falcons had one of the most feared defenses in football. Dan Reeves was the head coach, Chuck Smith was terrorizing quarterbacks, and that team finished the year with 55 sacks, the most in franchise history. To this day, no Atlanta defense has ever topped that mark. And the craziest part? That record-setting squad once sacked the Saints quarterback 10 times in a single game, with Chuck Smith personally responsible for 5 of them. Setting that record against New Orleans, the Falcons' biggest rival, made it even sweeter. Falcons fans still remember that moment with pride. But here's where it gets exciting. The 2025 Falcons might just be on track to break that historic record. Right now, this defense is projected for nearly 60 sacks this season, which would not only pass the 1997 total but completely rewrite the history books in Atlanta. Yes, we've seen flashes before. We've seen seasons where the Falcons look like they could pressure the quarterback, but this year feels different. This year feels deeper. This year feels like a group built for dominance. You've got Brandon Dorlus stepping up as the number 1 guy, and right behind him, young players like Zach Harrison proving they can disrupt games on their own. And the most dangerous part? It's not just one star carrying the load. For the first time in years, Atlanta has a rotation of pass rushers who can all make an impact. Sure, it's still early. A lot of their numbers were boosted by one monster performance where they racked up 6 sacks in a single game. But even with that context, the energy, the depth, and the potential of this defense feels like something special is building. And if they keep attacking at this level, Atlanta could finally break free from decades of frustration and earn a place in NFL history. What do you think, Falcons fans? Will this defense actually break the all-time sack record this season, or will history stay in 1997? Drop your confidence level in the comments from 1 to 10. How sure are you that the Dirty Birds will pull it off? The Falcons' pass rush isn't just being carried by one guy, it's coming from everywhere. Right now, Jalen Walker and Leonard Floyd are tied at the top, with Divine Diablo right behind them, and 3 other defenders chipping in with half a sack each. Add it all up, and this defense already has 7 sacks on the year. That balance tells you something important. Quarterbacks can't just key in on one pass rusher anymore, because the Falcons are attacking from every angle. And the numbers back it up. When you look at pressure efficiency across the NFL, there's a clear picture of where teams stand. The best defenses sit in the top corners, high left or high right, like Seattle or Denver. The bottom corners? That's where you don't want to be. And guess what? The Falcons are climbing into that upper tier. They're not quite at the 15% mark yet, but they're firmly on the right side of the chart. That means when Atlanta blitzes, it works. They're not just rushing the passer, they're making it count. And here's where it gets even more exciting. This shift didn't happen by accident. Atlanta started dialing up more designed blitzes on early downs, and it's paying off. That's how you punish young quarterbacks like J.J. McCarthy, and that's exactly the formula they'll try again this week against Bryce Young. Carolina's offensive line isn't terrible, but it isn't great either. It's right in the middle, shaky enough to be exploited. And Bryce Young? He's not the most mobile quarterback, and when the pressure comes, he can be swallowed up quickly. This defense has options everywhere. You've got Arnold Ebiketie, Brandon Dorlus, Zach Harrison, Jalen Walker, and Taquan Graham all ready to get after the quarterback. Even linebackers like Divine Diablo and Caden Ellis can crash the pocket on a blitz. It's a wave of pressure, unpredictable, relentless, and dangerous. For the first time in years, Atlanta has a pass rush that feels creative and deep enough to completely take over games. And the best part? We might not have even seen the ceiling yet. Because one young player, a first-rounder from this year's draft, looks like he's on the verge of a massive breakout. Falcons fans, do you believe this defense can keep up the heat all season long? Drop your answer in the comments. Is this the most dangerous pass rush Atlanta has had since the 90s? Falcons fans, let's talk about a name that could change everything for this defense. James Pierce Jr. I don't just think he's good, I think he's on the edge of a true breakout. And the numbers prove it. Right now, James Pierce Jr. ranks 5th in the entire NFL in pressure rate at an incredible 24.1%. That means nearly 1 out of every 4 times he rushes the quarterback, he's creating pressure. That's elite. That's not just good for a rookie, that's good for anybody in the league. But here's the crazy part. You won't see him listed among the league leaders in total pressures. Why? Because he's only played 40 snaps this season. That's it. Just 40. When you compare that to the other big names on the list, guys playing almost every defensive snap, it makes Pierce's numbers even more jaw-dropping. He's winning at a higher rate than most veterans, but he simply hasn't been on the field enough to pile up the stats. So here's the real question, why isn't he playing more? Maybe the coaches are easing him in. Maybe it's about rotation, matchups, or getting him comfortable with different packages. And sure, that makes sense early in the year. But let's be honest, the Falcons didn't spend a first-round pick on James Pierce Jr. to watch him sit on the sidelines. They drafted him, along with Jalen Walker, to become the foundation of this pass rush. They're supposed to be the tandem that quarterbacks fear for years to come. Every time Pierce gets a chance, he's winning. He's beating offensive linemen, creating havoc, and proving he belongs. Sooner or later, this coaching staff has to unleash him. Because the more he plays, the more dangerous this Falcons defense becomes. What do you think, Falcons fans? Is it time to give James Pierce Jr. a bigger role right now, or should the coaches keep easing him in? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your take. Let's dig even deeper into the numbers on James Pierce Jr. It's not just about pressure efficiency anymore, it's about pass rush win rate. This stat measures something simple but powerful. When a defensive end lines up one-on-one against an offensive lineman, how often does he win the battle? And guess what? James Pierce Jr. is already tied for 15th in the entire NFL in pass rush win rate. Not just among rookies. Not just among first-year players. The whole league. That means he's beating his man at the line of scrimmage as consistently as some of the best edge rushers in football, and he's only 2 games into his career. Now, here's where some people get it twisted. They look at the sack numbers and say, well, he hasn't finished the play yet. But sacks don't tell the whole story. Pressure changes everything. When a quarterback feels Pierce breaking through, the timing gets rushed, the throws sail, and the offense gets off rhythm. The sacks will come, that's just a matter of time. And the more snaps he gets, the more often he'll actually finish those plays. Honestly, if Pierce Jr. plays 40 to 45 snaps against Carolina, I wouldn't be shocked if he walks away with 2 sacks. That's how disruptive he looks already. He's quick off the line, he's strong at the point of attack, and he plays with the kind of motor that keeps offensive tackles on edge every single down. So the question isn't if he's going to break out. The question is when. And the faster the Falcons coaching staff gives him consistent snaps, the faster he's going to turn pressures into game-changing plays. What do you think, Falcons fans? Should the coaches unleash James Pierce Jr. right now and give him a starter's workload, or do you like the slow build? Drop a yes or a no in the comments, and tell us why.